with Sadhguru, founder Isha Foundation, on leadership from ambition to vision. But before Sadhguru comes on stage, we have a short film that we'd like to share with you.
In the next half hour, you're going to meet a man who has a devoted following across India and indeed around the world. While yoga and meditation are at the core of his teachings to promote individual growth, the work of the foundation covers conservation, education and health. And you'll find him astonishingly pragmatic on a range of very modern-day problems. Let's meet Sadhguru.
For the very first time in the history of humanity, we have the necessary resource, we have the necessary capability, we have the necessary technology to address every human problem on the planet. Even 25 years ago, we couldn't have dreamt of it. But the only thing that is missing is consciousness.
Today, the spotlight is on a project called Green Hands in India.
We started a mass campaign and 6 years I spent planting trees in people's heads. That's the most difficult terrain, believe me. And now in the last 6 years, we've been transplanting it, and that's happening much more easily.
Action for Rural Rejuvenation is mainly aimed at rejuvenating the human spirit.
English and computer skills are very essential to make these children come out of the hopeless economic and social pit they are in.
If you could first tell our viewers, what is the idea behind it? Initiative, insight, which is more specific towards entrepreneurs.
Whatever the nature of your business, ultimately, it is all about human well-being.
Isha Foundation, a non-religious, non-profit public service organisation headquartered in southern India.
We've engineered the outside world in so many ways, but we've done nothing about this one.
If you want to know well-being, in is the only way out.
This is what I want to teach you too. That is, you can be completely intoxicated without any drug, just on life. This is a shift from wine to divine.
How can you love one and hate the other when the same divine exists in all? The spiritual process is not about looking up or looking down, it is about turning inward.
See, the only thing that I'm really good at is just this. I can just make the air around me just crackle with energy.
If you have to describe yourself in one word, would you consider wildlife as 2 words or 1 word?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sadhguru.
Jananam sukadam maranam karunam samayadipate akilam karunam. Namaskaram to everyone, good morning. I said good morning. Leadership in the world in the last few centuries has been through a certain metamorphosis. There was a time when religious leadership was the most influential leadership on the planet. Then, as the military machines on the planet became very significant, the military leaders gained significance in the world. Later, in the last century, democratically elected leadership has been the most important leadership. But a time is coming where the business leaders or the economic leaders are going to be dominating the world. You did not expect a business person without political background to get elected to a major nation, to head a major nation on the planet. Largely, business leadership and every kind of leadership has been largely driven by ambition. What is ambition? Ambition is essentially exaggerating the existing situations. You have whatever you have, your ambition is to have much more of that. Ambition is largely about expanding what we already have. Vision is about seeing the reality of what is there right now and looking out for new possibilities. Or in other words, vision is an exploration, ambition is an exaggeration of who we are right now. The moment we become ambitious, knowingly or unknowingly, we want to conquer everything that we see. Conquest is one way of doing things. Inclusion is another way of doing things. When you conquer something, you get bound to what you conquer. When you include something, you become free from what you include. In the process of this conquest, which is driven by human ambition, we have kind of made every aspect of life which is fundamental to our existence, life-making material on the planet has been made into commodities. The air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the food that we eat and the land that we walk upon, all have become commodities that we can buy and sell. We are not very far from buying human beings and selling human beings, because everything becomes a commodity when you're in a conquest mode. How to grab something? This reminds me, a few years ago, I met a teacher who was my English teacher, and she attended a program of mine. After almost 30 years of break, I had never seen her, she came to a program. After the program, she came and hugged me and said, "Now I understand why you would not let me teach Robert Frost." I said, "Ma'am, why would I not let you teach Robert Frost? I like Frost." She said, "Don't you remember?" And she reminded me. It happened that till then we were studying only English poetry. She wanted to introduce American poets to us. She gave an introduction to Robert Frost, and then she started off, "Woods are lovely, dark and deep." I said, "Stop." I said, "A man who calls a tree a wood, I'm not going to listen to that guy." She said, "No, no, no, Robert Frost is a very great poet." I said, "I don't care how great he is. A man who calls a tree a wood, I am not going to listen to him." In my experience, I spent so much time outdoors. Tree was a magnificent piece of life. But in somebody's mind, tree is wood. If a tiger walks in here, he will look at you and think breakfast. So, it is all right for a tiger, but for a human being who is at the pinnacle of evolution of life on this planet, this is not acceptable, that you make everything into a commodity in your understanding, in your experience and the way you conduct things on the daily basis. So ambition is an exploration of new realities. Vision is an exploration of new realities. Ambition is just recycling the same thing into bigger and bigger possibilities. Ambition is always about more. Vision is about all. Vision comes when you simply look at life the way it is. When your vision is clouded with a dream, you're ambitious. When your vision is 100% clear, you have absolute clarity of vision, that is when you can have a vision for creating something new. In this process where we as human beings have acquired enormous capabilities in the last 100 years, what 10,000 men could do, today 1 man can do on the planet simply because we are so hugely empowered with technology. And in the last 100 years, we've changed the face of the planet. All destruction and environmental degradation that you see is all in fulfillment of human ambition. In this pursuit, we are going in such a way, hugely empowered. This means our very competence is slowly turning against us. Our ability to do things are going to destroy us. If our enemies try to destroy us, that's understandable, but our own ability to do things, the higher capability of what we are having today than ever before on this planet is going to be the mode of destruction for us. This is like the classic monkey story, which all of you should know. A monkey is sitting on the wrong side of the branch and cutting the branch. When it succeeds, it shall fall. We are in that mode right now because we are in the process of fulfilling our ambitions. Individual ambitions are destroying the universe. Fortunately, 50% of the population is lazy. If all the 7.3 billion people became very ambitious, super industrious, using all the technologies of today, I think we will gobble up the planet in the next couple of decades. So, human intelligence is not saving the world. Human love or compassion is not saving the world. Human lethargy is saving the world. This is definitely not a good way to approach. This is definitely not a positive way to approach our lives and the world. A time has come when leadership, no matter what is the terrain in which they're operating, political, social, economic, whatever, it is time that they learn to migrate from individual ambition to a larger vision. First of all, let us look at what is the source of one's ambition. The source of one's ambition, or the source of everything that a human being does, is our desire, isn't it? Desire is in its very nature like this. You have a desire, if you fulfill it, there is a next one. If you fulfill it, there is a next one. If you fulfill it, there is a next one. If you sit down and look at it, what is the ultimate fulfillment of my desire, you will see your desire is driving you towards an infinite expansion. If I make you the king or queen of this planet, would you be fulfilled, I'm asking you? Hello? Some of you looking at me hopefully. I will not commit such a blunder. But if you become the king or queen of this planet, you will look at the other stars, you will look at the galaxies. If I give you one galaxy, you will desire for the next galaxy, because this is the nature of desire. The nature of desire is it is driving you towards a limitless expansion. But ambition means it is finding a very constipated expression right now. This longing that one has to expand is finding expression in every possible way. If it finds a basic physical expression, we call this sexuality. The effort is just that you are trying to make something that is not you as a part of yourself, or at least yours. If it finds an emotional expression, then you call it love. Again the same attempt, something that is not you, you either want to make it yourself, if you fail, at least yours. If it finds a mental expression, it gets labeled as greed, conquest, ambition, or simply shopping. Again the effort is same, that what is not you, you want to make it yours. If it finds a conscious expression, we call this yoga or the ultimate union. If right now ultimate union is not happening, till that happens, the best way to incubate yourself for that possibility is at least hold a vision which is as large as your imagination can be right now. How far can your imagination go? If your vision is as large as that, as inclusive as that, then at least you're in the right state to be incubated for a bigger possibility, because every human being, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, is only longing to expand. And how much expansion? You want a limitless expansion. Ambition means expanding boundaries. Vision means boundlessness. There is something within us which doesn't like boundaries. It doesn't matter where you set the boundary, how big a boundary you set, there is something within you which doesn't like a boundary. There is something within you which always wants to break a boundary, because the natural state of a human being is boundlessness, and ambition is a very constipated expression for that boundlessness. It is important that we move today's leadership from personal ambitions to a larger vision. If this doesn't happen, with the capabilities that we have today, with our ability to empower people with technologies and ability to communicate with the rest of the world, that any idea, any desire can be transmitted across the planet in 10 minutes. What somebody desires in one part of the world, everybody starts desiring across the world within a matter of a day, which was not so in the past. If somebody desired and aspired and had something in one part of the day, it would take 100 years before it got to another part of the world. I'm saying our inability was saving the planet. But today our abilities can destroy the planet. Our abilities should make our lives. Our abilities should make the life on this planet better. If this has to happen, the transition from ambition to vision is a must. The difference between these two… Can I tell you one more monkey story, is it okay? Because you know, the genetic scientists today are telling us that the DNA difference between a chimpanzee and us is only 1.23%. 1.23% is not much of a difference, isn't it? Physiologically, that's how close we are to a chimpanzee. But in terms of our intelligence and awareness, if we in some way distance ourselves from a little bit of our genetic material, suddenly our ability to look at life, our vision is way bigger than a chimpanzee can ever imagine. But physiologically, that's how close we are. So, this possibility of moving from ambition to vision, we must understand ambition is very animalistic in the sense, you will see the dogs going around on the streets, peeing all over the place, not because they have some urinary tract problems. They're building a kingdom, okay? Now, this is happening to all of us. The moment you're ambitious, you're driving yourself into a ridiculous state of existence, in the sense, see, in this cosmos, of which we do not know the beginning nor the end, in this cosmic space, the solar system is just a speck. In that speck, planet Earth is a micro speck. In that micro speck, Delhi is a super micro speck. In that, you are a big man. This is a ridiculous state of existence. This is where ambition will deliver us, because ambition is always about being better than someone. Vision means bettering every life around us, making everything better around us. This is not about me being better, because our lives become better only when everything around us is doing great. This can only happen if every one of us hold a larger vision, no matter what is the nature of our activity. When I say what is the nature of our activity, I have seen in some of these economic forums where I have been, they're almost resentful. What is a mystic doing in the economic forum? So I ask them, see, what is your business? Whatever your business is, you might have forgotten whether you're manufacturing a safety pin or a computer or a spacecraft. Fundamentally, the basis of your business is human well-being. And that's my business too. And that should be everybody's business. It doesn't matter what is the nature of our activity. We can hold a vision which includes everybody's well-being. Ambition, going back to the monkeys, we came from there, so we can't help going back. On a certain day, a monkey, a very ambitious monkey, came and it saw a jar full of nuts, put its hand inside, picked up a whole handful and tried to pull it out. Its hand gets stuck, but it doesn't matter how stuck, he doesn't want to let go even a single nut. So pulled and pulled, it's not coming. But some monkeys evolved. And another wise monkey came and he said, relax, let go of the nuts, take your hand out. And both of them together, though it was a heavy part, they turned it around and got all the nuts out. This is the choice that we have, either all or more. More is going to destroy us, all is going to make our lives and every other life on this planet better and wonderful at this level of competence and capability that humanity has reached. If we do not shift our gears from more to all, from ambition to vision, we are on a destructive path. I'm supposed to take questions. Please.
Thank you so much, Sadhguru. Since you finished on all, I must share that my organization is called ALL, A-L-L. It expands to All Ladies League, and we'd love to you to come and speak to the women on all. My question is, you started with talking about consciousness, that we lack consciousness. My question is regarding social media today. It's really connecting the world. It's ushering a new sort of communication and a connection in the world. But what kind of consciousness do you think might be missing in this very important realm, and how would you like to see it grow? Thank you.
I know the word consciousness is being used in so many contexts today. Social media is, this is not new. Always in every society, there has been an active gossip mill. It's just gossip has gone global. Earlier, gossip was always local, now it's gone global thanks to Facebook and whatever else. When we say consciousness, we must understand this. There is something called as my body and your body. There is something called as my home and your home. There is something called as my things and your things, but there is nothing called my consciousness and your consciousness. That is what is consciousness. That right now you are who you are because of a certain accumulated memory. When I say a certain accumulated memory, you are the way you are because you have evolutionary memory in you, genetic memory in you, karmic memory in you, your sensory memory and what you can articulate and what is unconscious, various levels of memory. It is this memory which makes you this person that you are. If you as a woman, if you eat a piece of bread, it goes inside and becomes a woman, isn't it? If he eats a piece of bread, it becomes a man. If you give it to your dog, it becomes a dog. Not because the bread is smart. I know some people are saying that bread is smart. But because there is a certain memory or data here, it doesn't matter what you give, it will only function according to that. So, your individuality has come because of memory. There is a dimension of intelligence within you, which traditionally we refer to as chitta. This is an intelligence which is unsullied by memory. If you touch this dimension of intelligence within you, which all of us possess, then the boundaries of who you are and who you are not will vanish. This is what is the most misunderstood word today in the world called yoga. Yoga does not mean twisting and turning. Yoga does not mean standing on your head. Yoga means in some way you obliterated the boundaries of your individuality. Yoga means union. Union is only possible if you obliterate the boundaries. Right now, you have left your nostrils open. So little yoga is happening. Exchange. What you exhale, the trees are inhaling, what the trees exhale, you're inhaling. There is a union, isn't it? Though you're unconscious of it largely, it is happening. If you decide to strengthen up, shore up your boundaries and stop this, you know life will end. But this is not just on the level of respiration, this is happening at every point. In every subatomic particle in your system, it is in communication with everything. This widespread communication is not because of Facebook alone. This has always been happening, but most people have been unconscious of it. So when we say consciousness, let us never talk in terms of what type of consciousness. There is no what type of consciousness. Everything else that we talk about is about dividing the world in a million different ways. Between you and me, this and that and whatever. But when you say consciousness, you're talking about an existence without division.
Sadhguru, my question is that, talking about ambition, there is a saying that Hani Labh, Jivan Maran, Yash Apyash Sab Vidhi Hath. So I just exercise my mind always that are all landmarks in our life, good or bad, predestined or do we have some control? I'm talking about the landmarks.
Oh, is it in your control or is it determined by something else? Is that what you're asking? You must understand this. This is very important because today we have become little twisted out. But essentially, this is a culture where they always taught you, your life is your karma. What this means is, your life is your making. In every possible way, your life is your making. If you take full charge, let's say you have mastery over your physical body, then you will see 15 to 20% of your life and destiny will be in your hands. If you take charge of your mental faculties, 40 to 50% of your mind, of your life and destiny will be in your hands. If you take charge of your emotions, 60 to 70% of your life and destiny will be in your hands. If you take charge of the very life process within you, if you take charge of these life energies completely, if you have mastery over this, you are very fundamentals of your destiny, the very way you're born and the very way you will die, and how everything will be in your hands. The question is, how much of it have you taken into your hands? The problem is most human beings are trying to take charge of the situations around them. The situation is not entirely yours. Now all of us are here. This situation is not just entirely mine or yours. It belongs to everybody. Anybody here could do whatever in this given moment. The situation is never going to be 100% your way. But, or in other words, what world throws at you is not always yours. What you make out of it is 100% yours. So your destiny, your experience of life is not determined by what comes your way. It is determined by what you make out of it. Once you allow the external situations to determine the nature of your experience, then fear of suffering will come to you. Once fear of suffering enters your life, you will never walk full stride. You will only take half steps. Or in other words, what you can do, you will not do in your life. In our lives, if we do not do what we cannot do, it's not a problem. But if we do not do what we can do, we are a disastrous life. So, let us not take these positions within us. What decides? You decide. What happens around us may be not 100% yours. How you experience it, what you make out of it is 100% yours any day. Please.
Namaskar, Sadhguru. It may not be directly connected to spirituality, but one topic that's occupying the mind space of a lot of us these days is demonetization. It's also stressing a lot of people out. So what is
Depends how much money you have.
Yeah, so that's why I said people, and what's your advice to those who are suffering from this stress?
I think the finance minister articulated wonderfully almost on every aspect of this demonetization or remonetization that is happening now. Demonetization is over, it's a one-time thing. Remonetization is happening. I think he has covered a range of everything. But one thing I would like to point out, which as a part of the government he can never admit, is the counterfeit percentages in India are quite significant, or have been till now. It's far more significant than the 0.25% of whatever the RBI admits. The same mints which we have used in the past to print our currency have been at it. So if you see that note, there is no way you can make out it's counterfeit because it's come from a proper mint. Only when you find two 500 rupee notes which are of the same number, you will have a collector's piece. Then you know you got one of them is counterfeit, still you can't make out which one, because they have been printed in mints. And one of the biggest hits is for that. And will all black money go away? No, people will find ways once again to have cash and do things, but not to the same extent. But one thing that will definitely happen is, at least 30 to 40% of the transactions will come above ground. Right now, over 60% is being underground. Now, at least 30–40% will come above ground. This means our economy will look like suddenly it's $4.5 trillion, which is a big strength in the international arena. These are the two important things which will definitely happen for this country, and it is a positive move. We have been a developing country for too long. We've been developing. I've been wondering, when will we become developed? I think these are the painful steps towards becoming developed. And painful it is. Not everybody is a criminal. It is just by habit that we've been operating like this. There was a time when we were the largest economy on the planet, even kings were taxing merchants and others, it was perfectly fine. But we had this 250–300 years of British rule. At this time, the local administrators were named as collectors. Unfortunately, even today, the same terminology is going on in many states. Still, we call district administrator as a collector. At that time, he was just somehow to collect tax, nothing else, only for collection. So at this time, we developed a psychology that if somebody dodged tax, he's a hero. All those people who managed to dodge taxes was always a hero during the British era because they were collecting such cruel levels of tax. This we should have dropped in 1947, but this hangover continues till 2016. So this is a wake-up. This is a wake-up that this is our country. This is not an occupied nation where avoiding tax, breaking rules or closing down the nation is a good thing to do. It is no more a good thing to do. Please, I'll come, please.
You have explained about ambition. We all have ambition, and you want us to upgrade to vision. Can you tell us a few instances and steps we take to upgrade our ambition to vision, which is a nobler case? Thank you.
See, whatever the nature of work or business that one may be doing, one thing to understand is, everything that we do, whether we are conscious of it or not, in some way it is contributing to somebody's life. If this becomes a conscious process, how can I contribute to everybody's life through my daily work? Not necessarily by distributing money, though it may be a popular thing to do right now. Whatever you're doing, if you see, this question was asked to me by somebody, I said, this is all you have to do. When your mother was taking care of you, she did not see in the marketplace right now the rules are how to give less and take more, isn't it? If you give less and take more, you're smart. If you give more and take less, you're stupid. Yes or no? So I'm asking, was your mother very stupid because she gave all and took nothing from you? Is she a very stupid woman? I'm asking. It is because of that stupidity you are who you are, isn't it? Yes or no? I'm saying, just like this does not mean you will not make money in your business. If you are seeing always how to give the best to everybody around you, profits will happen, you don't have to look at it. Anyway, it'll pile up on the bank. Now we know it's all digitized. It'll go to your account. When it was cash, you had to count it, but now it'll go straight to your account, one day you can look back. So, if you make your life into your contribution, not that you contribute something, no, you make your life into your contribution because this is not philanthropy I'm talking about. I'm talking about making your life truly meaningful and worthwhile living. Because you can go to work with joy and come back with joy if your life is about creating what you truly care for. Every day of your life, if you are creating what you really, really care for, will it be a joy to go to work and come back home? You will never die of stress, believe me. You may die of exhaustion, but you will not die of stress, which is a very good thing. You will not die of boredom, because the moment you're thinking of contributing, the moment there is a pleasantness of experience within you, your body and your brain will function at its best. There is substantial scientific and medical evidence for this. How well this functions depends on how well you harness your success, isn't it? If your body and your brain is not functioning at its best,
were living beings, it could be a jackfruit, it could be a guava, it could be a mango. But the moment the ancient Indian lived in great harmony with nature, the moment a guava or a jackfruit or a mango became tree as genus, we alienated ourselves from the nature.
Yeah, but aren't the Greeks glad that they don't have a jackfruit tree? Because Isaac Newton, what would have happened to him if a jackfruit fell on him? Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Sadhguruji, may I request you to please remain here? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. May I request Ms. Sonal Kalra, National Editor, Lifestyle and Entertainment, Hindustan Times, to please present Sadhguru with his mementos. And as I mentioned earlier, we have with us Liza Donnelly, who is the renowned New Yorker cartoonist, who's been busily drawing our guest while you were listening to Sadhguruji. And we have that frame being presented to Sadhguru now. Thank you very much.
I thought the screen went blank, so I thought I ran out of time.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a few changes in our program. So immediately after, we are going to have Professor Krugman speak to us. Please be seated. We're not taking a break. Although there is tea and refreshments for you outside, those of you really need to go out. Ladies